Okay, you talk about we had Norwegian and for the discussion. Now I had Norwegian. Go ahead.
I just was considering the fact that you have, it's kind of tying with both for chapter 10 and chapter 11. Just how the superior man, the man of virtue thinks.
I don't like that translation. That's totally wrong translation.
Superior
not a superior man.
Yeah.
It's not like comparison, So
yeah.
That's not what it really means. It's a man of wisdom, a wise man. Basically, you can call it a wise man. Okay, so or a righteous man, because the two combined together. Okay, a wise and righteous man. Let's see that. How about that? More righteous, not righteous based on law.
The righteous
in heart. Am I right? Righteous in heart.
For sure.
Yeah, righteousness.
True righteousness. Yeah.
Like Abraham definition. There's no law for Abraham.
Yeah.
So yeah.
And at the same time, the truly both righteous and wise man also has his mind and his heart has risen, not in comparison particularly, but to a higher level of thinking. Once again, not lofty or intellectual.
It's more than virtues, more than this knowledge, it's more than just doing things right, it's more than this understanding. It's ideal man in a certain way.
Right.
Yeah. I'm so sorry to say that word.
It's like, for instance, in this 10 where it says that this righteous man does not set his mind for or against anything, which is what it says in this chapter 10. Yeah. What is right, he will follow and do.
Yeah.
And I think of a metaphor of those who, on this earth, on planet Earth, are always you have a people that are always trying to stay in the sunlight. They're chasing the world. They're going around the world trying to stay in daytime all the time.
Yeah, sure.
And you have others that are actually trying to stay in nighttime all the time.
Yeah.
And so just think of how foolish these people are, flying in a plane all the time or in a car, just trying to stay in the sun. Just they're living these rushed,
what were you learning that?
Almost impractical.
Where the pride came from? That's just yourself said that?
Yeah.
Oh, it's crazy. I'm going to tell you something after this.
This came to my mind.
Okay, yeah.
But
that's good.
Then you have, I mean, this sounds like the more common person, obviously, but then you have the person that just, he lives life in a confident, sure, and in a faithful way.
Yeah.
So not faithful or confident in himself particularly, but confident that he knows when it's daytime, it's daytime.
Yeah.
When it's nighttime, it's nighttime. Yeah. The sun will rise in the morning, it'll set at the end of the day.
Doesn't change it. Yeah.
And I'll live life in a righteous manner, not always trying to stay in one inevitable realm of thinking or I mean, it sounds good. Initially it sounds good that you're remaining in the light, so to speak.
Yeah.
But look at yourself. You're traveling around the world like a crazy.
Never stable. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's a good point. That's a very beautiful parable there. I like it.
I didn't really say it very elaborately, but
the reason I love it is because it's read, watch a YouTube video. It's a Buddhist story, so don't be put off with it. Okay,
no.
So basically, it's a hermit monk dwelling in the distant land. He becomes the wisdom, the locale. So even the animals come to him, console for understanding. So and there is a tagline in this land. They grew up together, good friends. This is just talking to the story. This is beautiful friends, they're never aware that they actually are different. Or the early difference about them. When they grew up, however, one day I don't know, either the story goes, not much detail. Basically, the mind recognize they are different. I'm not sure actually this parable relevant to that part. But they begin to argue. So they argue, said, I noticed when the moon began to, new moon to the waning moon, that phase, that's when the rain comes. That's when the wind comes, So, that, I don't know, the rain comes, because it comes with wind, right? So, certain phenomena happen. So, the line said, no, it's when the moon begins to whining, from a full moon to, the other phase, exactly like you said, basically, not one day per se, like 90 days. It's the circulation of the month, right? So, it's interesting. So they said that is the argument to no end, so, and, the parables I tell you basically either one is right, but they lost because their framework is wrong. They lost the opposition point, the conclusion they had is totally wrong. And then they argue on the same thing, so they went to the monk eventually, the monk said, hey, I don't think anything, has anything to do with the moon, it's the wind, so, the reason certain changes, phenomena happen is because of wind, so, okay, so, yeah, that's interesting, huh? And that's exactly how man subscribe to different fractional or bias. What is the word? Bias is not a good word. Maybe it's the fractured, or Paul said when you're a child, you're looking, when you're young, you understand in part. He was not talking about a puzzle piece. As Christian said, if I got all the puzzle pieces, I can fix the puzzle, so get the picture. He was not talking about it. He was talking about in part, actually, talking about exactly he said that, you have us looking through a glass darkly. The reality to you things is obscured. Maybe your vision is narrowed also. We have the English word called tunnel vision, Oftentimes we look at things from tunnel vision. And that's why teachers are so important in life. Because teachers, they're not experienced all the way, not on the subject, I'm talking the real life teachers so important. That's why sometimes readings were very important, not because it's gain knowledge, but learn why is my how they handle life is important. How they absorb the information, digest information, and use that information is very important. I don't know how to explain to you. I'm avid reader, but I'm also avid listener. I went to some wonderful teachers, so they have we're interested in life. We're broad with life, so, and always sitting, listening, they have a different take on life. It's just good to listen to their approach of life. This morning I was thinking about one of the brother God sent to my life has been very, very beneficial to me, so I began to appreciate some of the things he shared with me because I was young, I was very passionate. So I said my understanding, so anyway, we'll try to see where cool down a little bit, so yeah. And God will reveal further things to you, so don't just try to make decisions based on the impulses, all the temper understandings, so. Now, however, he never stopped me to develop myself, so making sense here. So I hope I can do the same to you, so. Also, it was always humble said, I think my portion is limited. I know you have a greater portion, you excel, so the Lord seems have revealed that to me. I know that part. So it's just interesting for me to build confidence to also learn to sometimes, hey, I think I might have got something better, so I seldom do that. But when I'm certain he's open-minded to it, he's excited about it, he will revise his opinion about it, he will say, yeah, God did teach me something for you, so in example, man, his old man, he don't have to turn to me for decision, but he will turn to me for certain decisions, were important decisions, right? So in life, to cost me. I was a young man, I don't know how to carry myself even, so. But why that? Because again, a man learned to withdraw from biases of age, biological gifts, biological whatever perception. He's just thinking, well, God is working, truth is working, life itself is working. Now, how can I posture my life to whatever the source is, and to be a reception of that rather than rejection of that, or discernment to that. That's very important. So, anything else? Yeah.
I think so.
Yeah. What is your Norwegian? A comment, impression on Norwegian?
Well, I think it certainly was inspired as a form of the vision. It was something that I was kind of thinking of myself to kind of give a more visual representation, as abstract as it may be, of what you were speaking of. So I think it certainly was inspired. But yeah, I guess you could call it like I don't know. I don't know. It's kind of something that was mixed with both a vision and thoughts at the same time.
Sure, yeah.
But I think we've expounded on it pretty well. I don't have any further thoughts particularly.
Okay.
Well, it is interesting if you think of the man that lived almost practically instead of always chasing the night or the day. There's a very keen sense of simplicity in the way that he thought. Obviously.
Yeah.
But again, it's like the words I already mentioned, there was a confidence that he had that alongside the simplicity, there was, or maybe as the simplicity was a fruit of his confidence and his faithfulness in what was inevitable and what was.
Yes.
Which was the surety of the beginning and closing of a day.
Yeah. I think the thoughts came to me is learn to withdraw from yourself.
Yep.
Your situation of life, your completion life, whatever you're under, am I on bogged with, it's a great benefit to life. I'm not talking about meditation. You can meditate, still wrap around your own sphere of life, am I? So learn to withdraw. Now, evidently, withdrawal can happen in different levels as well. The best way is withdraw to God and see how God looks into it. People said, well, God always going to do that to you. That's such a foolish thinking. No. Only God give you a precedence, give you a capacity, give you experience, but you think God is going to continue to do that in every occasion for you? Or He expects you to do always that? I'm not saying that you don't listen to God, don't desire God's input in that. Fundamentally wrong. I will tell you what maturity is in this one. Maturity is more than just withdrawal. Maturity actually begins to happen when God said, well, I withdraw from you. See how He withdraw. See how you handle it. See how you see it. Is that not supposed to be? A son need to have his mind, his perspective, look into a thing. Am I right? So, making sense to you? Well, that's exactly what it's about. If God permitted enter maturity, and God never allow you to enter to maturity until you actually go through this withdrawal from your personal affairs. One thing, that's only simple level. We would think that is a big mountain already crossed. Actually, it's a starting level still. I'm just talking. You understand what I'm saying, right? So, because your withdrawal is still only concerning your own affairs. You just break mode of your own thinking on the natural thinking or carnal mind. Worldly wisdom, right? So, worldly principles. That's simple. That's about your own affairs, where you're going to keenly care about it, you're interested in it, you want to know God's will in it. That's only a simple matter. What if about another person? What about a group of people? What about the age you're setting? What about the whole creation give to you to care about in light of what you want to do? Wow. Can I do that? Should I do that? Big question mark for people, am I right? Can I do that? What do you think God gave you visitations about? I'm just saying, right? So, what do you think He sent His Son? Why the passion and the zeal of the early apostles and the prophets through the ages tried to get you to be an eagle, to be a lion, to be whatever, is symbolic for a certain kind of existence. You know? If not, you have close proximity through their traditions of His people said, I want you to be a king, to be a priest. You know, in the old traditions, the Israelites, when young people get married, how they dress like? They dress like a high priest. Why is it dressed like high priest, a bride, a groom? Because you recognize the family that are going to raise up from you after the offspring running. You're a priest. You're father to them all. You in a sense represent God to them. You have a holy duty. You're not just entering into merely a new marriage. You need to look beyond. You're in eternal covenant to have a people like Abraham, right? Therefore, you're a culture upholder. You're not a culture builder. A father to your family. You're a father now. So, listen very carefully. So the first endowment in that marriage is not necessarily a bridegroom. The first endowment is now you leave his fatherhood with joy.